welcome to the very first edition of the Coda lockdown sessions in what are, let's face it, very strange times. Obviously bands can't be bands right now, do the things that we love and what we're good at, rehearsing, playing gigs for you, making music, etc. But you know, we've made an attempt to put all this stuff together to hopefully make some of these times more interesting for you, you know, so you can connect with us and we can connect with you, and you can find out a bit more about the band and what we're up to, and also a bit more about the background and all the other stuff behind the scenes as we answer your questions. And also we play some of our songs as you would otherwise not really hear them. Through the power of technology, we're able to record and track somewhat a bit loosely, but it's still live, which is what it's all about. You know, hopefully will be some of your favourite TDC songs as you haven't heard them before. So without further ado, we'll go straight into it. But also just to be aware for, you know, this first week that we're doing it, it's well worth noting that also on Friday we're releasing a new EP. This was something completely unplanned, but due to the current situation we thought it was something really cool to do and give back to you guys some new music. So that is the Early Days Raw and Unplugged EP with 4 tracks that we recorded really loosely, kind of bedroom style demos, and we thought they reflected well on what the situation is for at the moment with musicians. And also on Saturday we will be playing live as part, streamed live as part of Webfest 2, which is put on by the awesome guys at New Wave at Classic Rock. So definitely check that out on Saturday. If you're missing all those festivals and live gigs, that should be an awesome event as well. So hopefully this will kickstart what should be a really cool jam-packed week of Coda stuff for you all. So sit back, enjoy, and speak to you all soon. Cheers guys.
Steve Crowley is asking, how would you describe music in 3 words? Boy, that's a question. There's never enough. Yeah, that would be my answer. There's never enough of it.
This is a question from Anne via Instagram, and she wants to know what is the best album I've heard in the past year. Which is a great question, right? In these days and the value of the album, etc. So, Anne, without doubt, best album I've heard in the past year has to be Feral Roots by the Rival Sons. Big fan of the band. Been following them, not from day one, because it took a while for us to hear about them over in the UK, but without doubt, I think the album's exceptional. It's amazing. Like all good albums, it takes a while to get into, then you realise that the arrangement of the songs and the way it flows, it's just a great piece of work, and it encapsulates a lot about what the band are about, from the big kind of bluesy fuzzy riffs, some great work by Scott on the guitar, huge vocals, and some more melodic stuff as well, and the songwriting is exceptional. All in all, I think that is a great piece of work, and really encouraging for bands like ourselves in this day and age that, you know, a big rock album like that can have such an impact. They got nominated for a few Grammys for it, I believe. So yeah, that is, I would say, the best album I've heard in the past year. Thank you very much, Anne.
First one came from Twitter, actually, from a lady called Jenny in Birmingham, and it's drumming related, and it's, who are your biggest drumming idols when you were growing up? That's a great question. I could rattle on about it, but I'll try and keep it brief. So my early influences were actually jazz drummers, big band jazz drummers especially, and also band leaders as well. So Buddy Rich, really famous jazz drummer from the 50s and 60s. Another guy called Gene Krupa, but Buddy Rich especially for his technical ability, his ability to lead a band. He is referenced amongst all drummers as a legend and an influence to a lot of people, and he's definitely there for me. And then when I got into rock music, probably when I was about 15 or 16, and up until now, obviously my influences have changed quite a lot in terms of how I currently play, but John Bonham, Keith Moon, those classic rock drummers are definitely well up there. But also a bit more recently, I think Steven Adler, the Guns N' Roses drummer for their first album, Appetite for Destruction, was great. Really kind of raw, earthy sound, bit rough around the edges, but great groove, great soul, and so important to that record. And then Lars Ulrich, I think, is a great drummer, and he's obviously been around for 30 odd years now and leads the field, I think, in rock and heavy metal drumming, and is a huge influence. And then the final thing I'll say, I've got a lot of respect for session drummers because they tend to be the most well-rounded drummers musically and technically, and can play lots of different styles. Two that I think are great: Chris Sharrock, who I followed a lot through the sort of 90s and into the noughties because he was Robbie Williams' drummer for about 10 years. So all those great albums and big shows that Robbie Williams did. Chris Sharrock is at the back there. He played a big double bass drum DW kit. Definitely check out the shows that Robbie Williams did at the huge outdoor space, which I forgot now. Oasis played there. It will come to me later, but he's great. And also more recently, a guy I've seen live actually, Seth Rausch, who is the session drummer for Keith Urban, the Australian kind of country rock Americana singer. Great setup, great sound, plays with lots of triggers, leads the band. I saw him last year and I'm looking forward to seeing him again. So there's a few for you.
All right, folks, we got a question from Mark from Cornwall. Hey, Mark. Question. What was the question? So he said, "What's my backstage pre-gig ritual?" Well, it changes depending on whether I'm having a tipple before the show, which I usually do. Usually chills me out or warms me up. I think I like to get my voice warmed up whilst I'm having a beer, not too cold. And I often find a couple of beers, eating a good few hours before the show. I don't like to go on stage with a full stomach. I like to be feeling lean and mean. A couple of cheeky beers, maybe 3, and potentially a shot of something cheerful. Maybe a Jaeger or a cheeky whiskey, and that will set me right. And then, yeah, I get quite hyperactive before a show. Like I get quite I do a lot of kind of leaping and shrieking and jumping around and getting quite, to get my energy levels up. And also a lot of the time, especially depending on the size of the crowd, I might be doing a bit more I might be a bit more nervous depending on what crowd we're playing to. And I get really kind of angsty, so I have to get my energy out somehow and control my nerves. So I piss everyone off basically by a mixture of warming up my voice, doing kind of strange scales, singing along to AC/DC, jumping up and down, and being a bit strange. So yeah, that's my pre-show ritual. But you know what? That can completely change as well. Sometimes I'll just be like sitting there really tired, and then I'll be like, right, time to go. Howl at the moon for 5 minutes, do a shot, and away I go. But yeah, it's different every time, but it does follow a certain thread depending on the zone I'm in.
Question 1. What is the total length of album number 1 in minutes and seconds?
Oh, fuck off.
Closest to it gets it.
Oh,
Okay, write it down straight away. But what is the total length of the Dust Coda's self-titled debut album in minutes and seconds?
And goes without saying, no cheating, no looking on Spotify.
Yeah. No cheating. The closest to the answer gets it.
So that's pretty much a guess. Oh,
there's a freak chance you might all get it.
I'm sure.
Right, question 1, total length. Scott, what did you get?
47 minutes, 40 seconds.
John?
50 minutes, 20 seconds.
Tony?
56 minutes, 45 seconds.
Scott Miller, you are 15 seconds out.
Nice.
47 minutes and 25 seconds.
It's shorter than everyone thinks. That's
very short.
46, 25.
Say again?
47,
47, 25. watch it later. How long is the guitar solo to Sweet Love?
Just too long.
What number? Right?
Yeah, minutes, seconds, whatever. And the nearest gets it. How long is the guitar solo in the recorded version?
The whole song, isn't it?
In Sweet Love.
Not the one at the start, live.
Enough minutes. How long is the guitar solo to Sweet Love, Tony?
150.
1:15.
1 minute 50 seconds. 150. 50.
Okay. John?
58 seconds.
Scott?
I put 2 minutes 15.
John, you're pretty close. It's 45 seconds.
Ah,
Oh my God.
All right. All I've got is the tune. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3.